There are things like TSA, there are other parts of the government where it actually would become a real problem if we sooner or later don't open them up, because we'll have employees simply leaving, not because they won't get their pay eventually. They'll get all their pay in backdated whenever the shutdown ends. But if this thing goes on for 3 months, I'm sure there are plenty of federal workers, and for that matter, federal contractors, who do happen to live paycheck to paycheck, which, of course, I'm not saying that to engender a lot of sympathy for federal workers. I know they make more than the average worker in the private sector. I'm just simply stating as a reality, some of them eventually might leave the federal workforce, and that could be a real hassle at places like airports.
Yeah, well, speaking of that, I mean, the TSA numbers from the weekend in terms of employee attendance, about 10% actually called in sick. You're arguing that this whole shutdown is to privatize the TSA?
We have several airports. I think it's 22, but I might not have that number right. But we have several airports, including major airports like San Francisco, where we already have private contractors. And these airports function better, their safety record is better, and maybe one thing we're learning from this shutdown is that why don't we just let all airports have private contractors? Yes, of course, the federal government, the transportation department will have certain guidelines and mandates for what has to be done. But if we had private TSA workers all across the country like we do in San Francisco and other airports, this shutdown wouldn't be affecting them at all.